All right. So the first of the three principles of DNS is diaphragm breathing. This is the thing that we talk about the most because it's probably the most important. If anybody knows what the diaphragm is, it's the muscle that attaches at the front of your ribs to the back of your ribs and to your spine, and that cuts you basically in half. The diaphragm is a muscle, like I said, that is dome shaped, and when it contracts, it lowers down. So the diaphragm has obviously the power for helping us breathe, but it has two other functions. It functions in our bowels. So when it lowers down, it creates pressure in our abdomen wall, which creates pressure on our bowels, and it helps us move our food through our intestines and helps us expel that waste. The other thing it helps is with our blood flow. So our two main are inferior vena cava and our aorta go through our diaphragm. And when that diaphragm contracts down, it actually pumps or helps facilitate blood flowing in both directions. So the diaphragm is a super important muscle in our body, and we have to treat it because it is such an important muscle. If it doesn't work very well, a lot of all of those three functions actually can be diminished, and they won't be at their most efficient states. So, what do we use diaphragm breathing in our office for? The main thing is stabilization, right? So we believe that when you are diaphragm breathing, you create pressure in that abdomen that stabilizes not only our lumbar spine, but the rest of our spine because our spine stacks up on it. We also believe that because when that gets stable or we get enough pressure in there, it creates proximal stability, meaning stability right at that center or your core, which can create distal mobility. It allows our shoulders to be able to move because they have a stable base that they are connected to. It allows our hips to move. If you got tight hips, if you don't have proximal stability, you're never going to get that distal mobility in those hips because our body doesn't feel safe moving all those joints in a large range of motion because it's not stable. So we use diaphragm breathing to create that stability. We believe that you cannot create good brace in your belly if you don't learn how to breathe first. And what that means is a lot of us are chest breathers, and when we chest breathe, we don't actually create stability in that abdomen. We actually lose that stability because our belly is being sucked in. But when we diaphragm breathe, we actually breathe in and we push our belly out, and that belly pushing out is pressure that is creating stability. If we can create that breath like that, then we learn how to create a brace. So if you're going to lift 500 pounds, you need a really good braced abdomen so that you can lift that 500 pounds. But if you're going to chest breathe, you're not going to create that stability that you need for the lumbar spine. But a lot of us understand that we need to belly breathe, and you come into our office and you want racked and cracked and needles and cool rehab exercises, and then we have you lay on the table and you're going to be doing breathing exercises. We get it. It's boring. And it's so boring that one of our other chiros say it's as boring as a rash. Nobody wants to talk about a rash, but it's so boring. But it's also so pivotal in getting people to feel better, but also to function better. We really believe that almost any complaint in the human body has to start somewhere with the diaphragm breathing component of it. If we don't address it, basically we're not doing our jobs. We can get you better, we can make you feel better, but we're fairly certain that pain or that complaint is going to come back if we don't address the breath or the diaphragm breathing.